Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Justin, and welcome to another fun-filled episode of Ship Life. So today's episode is going to be on a subject that I believe has been pretty overlooked when it comes to my series. It's actually a pretty valid subject, so I think we should go ahead and jump on it. Today, we are going to be asking the question, which is something I've been asked a lot, the question of if a cruise contract is actually worth it. Now, when it comes to that question in particular, I'm pretty sure you guys are probably asking yourself about two different factors. Factor number one, is it worth your time? And factor number two, is it worth the money? We're going to go ahead and get into all of that right now. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we?
Let's go!
Alright, so before we get off into today's episode, I do have two very quick fun announcements. So please listen up, guys. First and foremost, if you guys have not noticed already, I am rocking the brand new Ship Life Movement t-shirt. That's right, I have officially come out with Ship Life merch just for you guys. The reason I decided to finally come out with this is because I am sick and tired of cruise lines trying to flip a profit and only catering to their lines. I believe that for a lot of people, the ship life is not just something that you do, it's something that you live. People literally love this and live this life every single day. And when they're at home, they feel sick because they're not on the ship. Trust me, I know exactly what that's like. So I decided to start a movement and build something for the ship life community. If you guys could, please support my movement and please support my apparel that I have. I do have an online store now available. I will leave the link right here and in the description below. I only have my t-shirts right now available in both heather gray and white, but I do have more merchandise coming up as far as car decal stickers and other things as well, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Now, along with that, if you guys haven't already, please go ahead and follow my Ship Life Instagram. Why, you ask? Because this month, which is my first month, I am doing a free raffle giveaway for one of my first edition Ship Life t-shirts along with $50 cash. And I am giving back to my community. I'm doing the best that I can to do it every single month, and the prizes will grow with time. I'm giving that t-shirt along with $50 cash, so make sure you guys go follow. We do have the cutoff date this Sunday, so guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and follow the instructions to be entered in for your chance to win that free gear. Now, without further ado, let's get off into today's episode. So, is a cruise ship contract really worth it? To be straight up with you guys, it's not so simple as a yes or no answer. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some reasons as to why it's not so straightforward, which I know a lot of you guys were looking for anyway, but it isn't. There are always factors. Factors like, is the money worth it? What destinations are you going to go to? Is it going to look good on your resume? Is it worth leaving your family and friends for 6 to 9 months? Those are all valid and legitimate questions that you're probably asking yourself and trying to get information about. Now, let's talk about one in particular that I'm sure is probably the most important factor, which is the money worth it? Now, when it comes to the subject of money, for obvious reasons, it's not such a straightforward answer. I actually did a video about how much money you can make while working on the cruise ship. I do speak in very general terms as far as how it goes and what you could potentially be making, because I know a lot of people want to know. That's a very big question. I'm going to leave a link to that video right here along with in the description below. Make sure you guys check that out. But just in general terms, when it comes to how much money you can make, you guys have to kind of figure it out for yourselves if it's worth it. When you decide to factor in the fact that you're going to be staying on the ship, living on the ship, getting your food and bed and all that good stuff taken care of, you got to decide for yourself, but it always depends on what department you're working in. That is the big factor that you guys need to figure out before you decide if it's actually worth it or not. Now, on to the second biggest factor. Is it worth your time? Now, along with how much money being a huge factor at play as far as when deciding if a cruise ship is worth it, I know another thing that comes into play is it worth the time? And when it comes to this subject in particular, there of course are factors in between those bigger factors. Now, you have to understand that your contract is typically going to be anywhere between 6 to 9 months. You have to decide if it's worth it or not. Is it worth leaving, for example, your family, which a lot of people do, which I do in particular. I'm going to make another video on that another day as far as coping and how you can just leave your family and whatnot. But for a lot of people, it's, their main source of income, their contracts that they do. You have to be prepared to be able to be away from home for 6 to 9 months. While to some people that may seem like a lot, to some that may seem like a little bit of time, you have to take that into consideration. You also have to take into consideration when it comes to time, as far as the amount of hours you could potentially be working. Now, of course, like I said, with your department is going to determine how many hours you are working a week. Some people work 5 hours a week, and that's no joke. Some people also work 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week. So, time is not something that you can get back. So you have to take that into consideration when you're talking about working on a cruise ship. But again, depends on the department you're working with. Overall, when it comes to just the overall experience of if it's worth it, if you were to ask me, and if you were to ask most people on a cruise ship, they would tell you that it's definitely worth it. Now, I would never ever tell anybody not to do a cruise ship. I would highly recommend it. Other than, I want to say, maybe doing a tour with like a touring company or something like that, there is nothing that compares to working on a ship. It's definitely an experience of a lifetime, and I would recommend it to literally anyone. Now, when it comes to just in general terms of how things are, the experience of it being worth it, now I believe in one thing. I believe that it's not about the amount of time you spend somewhere. It's what you get out of it. Alright? When I was working at Walmart, for example, this is way back when, after high school, even then, I understood there was something to learn. Like, yeah, honestly, I was pushing carts and doing the maintenance thing. I was a janitor, to be honest with you. I was a janitor for I don't know, 6 months, and I was miserable. However, I did also understand that Walmart is also a multi-billion-dollar company that's worldwide. So, there's something to be learned somewhere if you know how to look for it. That's the same thing with me creating this SHIPLIFE channel. I haven't done a lot of contracts, but I had the free time, so I took the time to get to learn everybody, how they are in different departments and their overall experience so that I can share it with you guys. You have to make everything count. Now, there is so much to be gained from this. To be able to travel all over the world on a company dollar is never a bad thing. But when you're going to some of the most beautiful places in the world, it's definitely worth it. Now, of course, like I've explained in other videos, some departments may have more time than others to actually see this stuff. But if you can get on a ship, I would definitely recommend it. Obviously, the ship life is not for everyone. There are just things that you have to take into account to determine if you could actually even survive on a ship. Some people just can't deal. Some people just can't adapt. And again, I say all the time, I believe that being adaptable is the key to surviving anything in life. But some people just can't handle it. Like, for example, you should never ever work on a cruise ship if you are just bad with people. Don't ever work on a cruise ship if you are claustrophobic. Don't ever work on a cruise ship if you are picky about food. Don't ever work on a cruise ship if you can't handle being at sea. All those things come into account when you're talking about working a cruise ship contract. Now, there are a million things that I can go on and on about that you should do and you shouldn't do when it comes to working on a ship. But of course, I'm just going to speak in general terms. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I do, as always, hope I give you guys some quality content. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting my channel. I greatly appreciate it. And by the way, I want to give a huge shout out to my biggest supporters so far, the H3 family. They even have a YouTube channel known as the H3 Family Vlog. I'm going to leave a link right up here. If you guys haven't already, please go ahead and give them a follow. They are a pretty cool family that cruises quite frequently. and they have a pretty cool story to tell. I support them as they have supported me and my channel since day one. Please give them a follow, and I would greatly appreciate it. If you guys haven't already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with that like button if you guys enjoyed this video. And once again, please don't forget to check out my SHIPLIFE apparel store along with giving me a follow on Instagram. Thank you so much, guys, for checking out my video once again, and I will see you next week. Peace.